there, and welcome to the Reflection Show with me, Martha and Spice. Today's conversation is focused on young people, how we can unearth our potentials, and how we can dive into diverse, perspective in or on empowerment when it comes to young people. Whether you want to make profits, you want to make impact, you want to veer into advocacy, this is the platform for us to share ideas and know that all of us watching us seated here have a great potential to make our lives more empowered and also focus on youth development. I'll be speaking with two amazing young people who have risen above all the challenges you can ever think of. And today they are doing amazing for themselves and making impact in the lives of so many young people. Let's take a breather. When we are back, we delve into more. Stay tuned. I am Martha and Spice.
Welcome to Maga's Royal Hotel, where royalty stays. Right here in Tamale, where the sun blazes rays. In Kamvli Palmo, we shine so bright with comfort and class, both day and night. From the rich green lands where farmers grow to the friendly faces that always glow. We bring you warmth, we bring you style. Maga's Royal Hotel makes it all worthwhile. Come feel the thrill, make a royal splash. Our swimming pool is cool and flash, fresh and wide. It's yours to enjoy with families, friends, or just you. And when it's time to move and flex that muscle, our state-of-the-art gym is ready for you. Run, lift, stretch, and feel alive to stay strong, stay sharp, and always thrive. With the state-of-the-art rooms and a spa so serene and conference halls that are crisp and clean, we serve the North with pride so true. Maga's Royal Hotel is made for you. Maga's Royal Hotel is more than a name. It is comfort, strength, and royalty. Call us now on 0502 055555 or 055 4668 786. Maga's Royal Hotel. Dive in, work out, rest like a royal.
Welcome back from the break. We're still here. Today we are privileged to be recording at Maga's Royal Hotel right here in Tamale on the Kamvli Ili Road. You see their contact details on the screen. Looking for a very comfortable place for your vacation. If you have a workshop, just a nice place to relax for a weekend. Or maybe you are going for that honeymoon, looking for the best place, the right place to, have a cool relaxation. It's Maga's Royal Hotel right here in Tamale for you. You can get their contact details on the screen or just go online, Maga's Royal Hotel. I have a gentleman and a lady who are here, and we all, I think we knew each other whilst we were in high school, right? You were in business senior high. And then, in fact, he was my senior, and I used to disturb him a lot. And today, I have him on my show. So I'll let them introduce themselves. It's a big woman and a big man. My mouth may not be able to mention their name. So let me start with you ladies first.
All right. So I'm Samiha Yunus. I'm a policy analyst and a development worker. And currently the executive director for Women Support and Activist Group, WUSAC.
Okay.
Thank you very much to you, Martha and Spice, and your viewers. My name is Prince Nabil Mahama. I'm the Executive Director for iValley.
iValley. So we'll now delve into what you do currently. What do you do when it comes to the development space or whatever? As a young person, what do you do? Nabil, let me start with you.
Okay, thank you once again. So my focus is mostly on developing young people who are interested in becoming entrepreneurs and building sustainable businesses that would create jobs, and also young people that are interested in using technology to change their environment. So these are the two areas I focus on largely.
Okay. Samiha?
All right. So WUSAC currently has 4 thematic areas that we work in: economic empowerment, economic agency, and then civic participation and political participation of young women and young girls, and then well-being of women's health and rights. And then we are also looking at strengthening the organization. So these are like the thematic areas that we work in. Okay,
so you are more about impact advocacy.
Yeah.
He's more about entrepreneurship, making money, social enterprise, and earning potential. So it gives young people diversity on what they want to do. if you are like me who cannot, have a business and make profit because you spend all the money doing social work, there are other impactful ventures that you can also go in as a young person. When we come to you, Nabil, how did it start for you and why did you want to delve into social enterprise?
Okay, it's a very interesting question. My journey has been a long one and a very tough one as well, full of challenges,
Yeah.
ups and downs. It all started, I think, somewhere in 2019. So in 2019, I'd just done a program for MTN where I trained young people in digital marketing. And at the time, I have a background in computer science. So at the time, I was doing a lot around tech. So after the training I did for them, they were celebrating the 10th anniversary of MTN Mobile Money. And so as part of that, they wanted to do something for young people. So it was after the program, I kept thinking that why don't I focus on empowering young people? Having the background in tech and seeing the environment where I am, I find myself in a place where young people do not have access to technology, especially girls. So it was, then I thought of starting something where I could do these trainings. And then
Yeah.
at the time, I worked on a partnership with the Tamale ICT Center in 2019. We did a couple of programs over there. And again, around that same time, the new regions were being created. So I looked at the landscape. I looked at the northern part of Ghana, and I saw that Savannah was a virgin land. And so it will be a place where it will be very easy for me to work from there. There's going to be less competition, which gives me time to be able to grow, make all the mistakes, errors, and
Yeah.
correct from there. So it was there I took a bold decision to move to Savannah region,
Okay.
the regional capital in Damango, and it
Okay.
all began from there.
Okay, but before you began iValley, it means that you had either done volunteerism, participated in opportunities that empowered you yourself to be able to start.
Exactly.
I'm delving on that because I'll make a point later. Sometimes we don't focus on empowering ourselves before we take a motive. We just see somebody doing it and we just want to rush. But in his journey, he took time to work for diverse people, volunteer, etc., before he felt like it's now time for me to take an initiative that will also empower other young people like I am. Samiha,
Yeah.
how did it start for you?
I think I started development work at the age of 7. Yeah.
7.
Yeah. And I think I didn't know what I was advocating for clearly, but I knew I wanted to advocate for children at the time. So yeah, Kokanasi story, that's where it started from. And then to Curious Minds. So when they're very young, I'm sure you know partially of my story, but
The viewers do not know your story.
At the age of 7, I was already very vocal, I knew what I really wanted to. I think for me, I would say it's God's gift. That I sort of identified that I wanted to do development work from that very young age.
Okay.
But then it was also on that very young age, we started contributing to changing the narratives. So what was very, very clear was when we started Curious Minds at that very young age, we were advocating for responsibilities of parents taking care of their children well. And we used to do that at Radio Savannah, like pushing more on advocacy. And then as time went by, there was also like an opportunity to build our skills, an opportunity to get us more exposed, because you would go for all these workshops for children that I was part of. So as it was revolving, it was becoming more and more clearer for me. Fortunately, my background in school, like academically, is also on development management. So over time, I went to UDSY campus. I studied development management. I think at a very young age, I knew exactly what I really wanted to do.
Okay.
And also thanks to, I would acknowledge privileges in terms of like my parents being very supportive and all that. And just identifying the potential and being very supportive at that point in terms of where I wanted to go. I think I had some few arguments with my father here and there in terms of go and study this particular course and become this. And I'm like, no, I was very resistant. I think I've always been very resistant about things that I really wanted to do. And also it comes from a place of passion. I think naturally I'm very empathetic, and so it sort of connects to where I was building myself. Even though as it was revolving, it was becoming more clearer and clearer because of the kind of volunteer work that I was doing as I was growing.
Okay.
In senior high school, it revolved because I joined the debating club, I joined the SRC, we pushed for change. So I've always been that activist that I wanted to see that change. And I was very radical in terms of like the change that I wanted to see. And there was no double standard. Like if I said that I wanted to see that change, academically I was also doing well. So then it is not because I am fighting for change, but academically I am not doing well.
Yeah.
But I'm fighting for change, and academically I am pushing again. So it sort of made it very easier in terms of identifying that. So from high school, we went to university. From high school, leadership roles started. So it sort of shaped where I was going. What I wasn't clear about in terms of education was also because my dad was confusing me in a way, let me say, because my dad wanted me to do one thing and I also wanted to do another thing. So we had like back and forth in terms of educational career, where my father wants to see me and then where I personally want to be.
Okay.
Finally, we went to the university. I studied development studies. And in the university, I think Isaac unleashed my true identity in terms of career guidance. So Isaac sort of opened the door for development work. So in Isaac, I was doing small projects, managing projects here and there. And that was the beginning of the journey. Yeah.
Okay, I am hearing opportunities, opportunities. I'm hearing how all of you, were able to learn. How did these opportunities, that is empowering yourself, play a role in the individual things that you are doing now? So for example, you did work for who, you volunteered for who. How did it play a great role in iValley?
All right. So I think that self-development is the biggest thing one can ever do for themselves. And regardless of the level you are, you still have to continuously learn, attach yourself to mentors, people that are in your industry, and people you aspire to be like. You learn from them, pick what works for you. And so for me, the first opportunity started with national service. Back then, I didn't really care about national service, but reflecting back, I think it played a key role because I was lucky to do my national service with the National Youth Authority.
Okay.
And so being in a space where young people were, given the opportunity to excel, young people were given the opportunity to become advocates and speak up, that sort of contributed to my development and it shaped me, And so from there, I work with a few institutions. I work with Amin at Samakose, where I was the tech projects officer. I've worked with Kindred Technologies as the head of marketing. And then I've done a few engagements. I've been with Ghana Water Company at the GIS department for a short period. And so all these experiences sort of shaped me because I learned how to be a follower. And in that process, I also learned leadership.
Okay.
Yes.
Samiha.
I think I'll just pick it from where he stopped in terms of learning to be a leader. And in that processes for me, or like all my experiences have shaped me in various capacities, learning what kind of leadership style and how like leaders lead. So everybody and their style depend on their context. So one, I had also done like various internships, various volunteer programs, and also in terms of work experience, like full-time job work experience, where I've worked in various organizations, different diverse organizations, small NGOs and then big NGOs, big NGOs like the UN. And for me, I think in all of that, it played a part in when I was in the UN, what kind of experience that I built from the UN, understanding structures, understanding bureaucracies, understanding like skills that you learn and even tools that you use, which is some of the things that like young people these days miss. In terms of even the tech tools that we talk about, like the Google Workspace, how do you use those tools to even work effectively, right? And now that there are like all these AI tools springing up, you wouldn't be able to catch up with tech if you don't understand the little tools that gets there to even work, right? And also in terms of leadership, Nabel mentioned about being a follower to learn.
Yeah.
So in all this, like you work with various organizations, various leadership styles, various personalities, and it sort of shaped how I saw things. I will talk about learning that he mentioned in terms of that. In terms of education, even knowing what kind of courses to study and upskill yourself. Doing a master's program, it was necessary at some point in my life, which is why I did it. I didn't do a master's program because I felt like everybody's doing a master's program. No, like I needed a master's program because at the end of the day, you are looking at yourself building your career. You start from project officer, you start from volunteer, project officer, programs manager, and then you are rising, and then you are rising. And now, for me, in my career as executive director, I am leading a team, I'm leading an organization. It's not just about being a manager and leading a team, but it's also about leading an organization. And all these tools and all these experiences shaped me. Also exposure, which I forgot to mention. What did it do to me? It also exposed me. Being in the UN exposed me to different rooms that I would ordinarily not find to sit in. It is not about being in the room, it's about what do you do in that room. Being on tables that you would ordinarily not get. But then when you get on those tables, what do you do? The networking that Nabel mentioned in terms of mentorship. When you network with people, how do you follow up? What's the implication of the network? Do I just know matter for knowing matter, or what is the benefits from matter, or what's the mutual gains from matter? It is not just matter giving me money,
Yeah.
but what kind of insight do I drive from matter?
Yeah.
Even if I don't have a personal relationship with you, but what do I learn from the way matter speaks, from the way matter dresses, from the way matter does work? We
Okay.
have worked with bosses in terms of their work ethics.
Yeah.
How do they comport themselves in terms of working? So I am not working at the UN because I'm working at the UN, but even in the UN structure, there are people that you emulate
Yeah.
how they do their work, their reporting style, their writing style. Right now, I look back and I reflect on how I'm leading from one of the bosses that I've worked with, in terms of the way the boss was managing the team. And I think that I've learned so much in that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, I want us to delve into opportunities. It means that we had opportunities to be able to work with. Now, my question is, are these opportunities still available for young people? Now, I remember a few days ago, I'm like, hey, it's a long time I've used Google. At first, like any little thing you need, you just
Google
go on
it.
Google, let me Google it. Sometimes to even give you a PDF, you have to now go through and then
Right.
all that. But now, even without ChatGPT, I just take my WhatsApp
And you
and
go to Meta AI.
I go to Meta AI and I get whatever information
Yeah.
that even ChatGPT, like sometimes I chat with it like I'm chatting with a friend.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, today at work, I was having a bad day. How can I? It chats with you. So do you think that, in our time, we could easily think on our feet to do certain things? Now, first, 2-in-1 questions. One, do you think that these opportunities for young people to be empowered or develop themselves are still available? And also, with the emergence of technology, do you think that it's going to do better for us who are already in the space and also better for those who are coming up, Nabil?
All right. So I think that the opportunities are even more now. Maybe because now there's information and access to technology, it makes it easy for us to access these opportunities. So, but regardless, I still think that there are more opportunities now than ever. Look at the development space. There are more NGOs and CSOs now than before. So it means that young people just have to look around. Now, when it comes to the second question you asked, technology just makes work efficient.
Yeah.
It makes it easier. It makes it faster. And so blending technology and the information available, it makes it easy for young people to access the opportunities available. However, positioning is very important. If the opportunity comes and you are not ready,
Yeah.
if you don't position yourself right, it makes it difficult for you to tap into the opportunity. And I think that is the problem we are facing now. A lot of young people are not ready. That's number one. Most young people want to get rich quick. That's number two. And number three is that a lot of young people are also lazy. And I think Magdan mentioned this some time back, and I saw a lot of Ghanaian youth bashing him on Twitter. But that's the reality. There are a lot of young people that are lazy. They don't want to do the amount of work it takes to be able
They
to.
don't want to invest the energy into achieve what they are
Exactly.
admiring.
Exactly. So we see Matter on TV and we want to be like Matter. But nobody cares about how much work Matter put in place to get here. The production crew is there, the team you are working with, you are doing, there's people management, the guests you have, the team. There's so many things that you have to learn. There are a lot of things that goes into making this happen. People don't see that. People don't see the process. But again, I want to say that it's on us as the ones that are taking the lead and probably paving the way for young people to show our process enough. If we're only showing the flashy cars and the good life, they don't get to see the process, and so that contributes to the mindset. So a mind shift has to happen, and I'm sure Samiha will touch on that once she's in the development space when it comes to the mind shift. But lastly, I would just use this opportunity to say that young people need to also read a lot of books, because my mind shift started in 2008. I read a book called Rich Dad Poor Dad, and it was then I knew I wanted to become an entrepreneur. And so we need to read, and I don't regret ever reading that book. The only regret at some point was that I didn't want to go to school. I didn't want to continue with academics. I wanted to start business right then.
Yeah.
But you need a blend of the two. You need some knowledge, some level of education, to be able to excel in the business world. And
Yeah,
so
I think I wanted to touch on
yes,
the part of like academic credential that is very necessary,
Right.
depending on where you are going or
Right.
depending on where you see yourself. Just wrapping around what Nabil has said in terms of young people want to get money quick, young people want to do it faster. They do not get the processes, like they don't understand the process. They don't know the behind the scenes. They do not understand they do not want to do the behind the scenes. So yes, you see Samiha Yunus, she's executive director, fine lady and everything. And all you think about is you also want to start a foundation or you want to start an
Right.
organization. But you haven't taken your time or you haven't probably grown yourself and empowered yourself enough to understand. Because it is not just about being executive director or starting an organization, but it is also understanding the processes behind all that it takes, you know. Yes, some people get lucky by starting an organization and then, you know, you are the founder and then the vision is there. But it will take a lot to understand even governance structure in terms of board management, in terms of people management,
Right.
in terms of putting proper structures in place, in terms of even putting down policies that would make this organization work. People do not even understand that. They all they think about is I'm the executive director for
Yeah,
this
the
organization. You
title.
are running around the whole place and you are just the title. It's just the title. And also in terms of empowerment, people run around not being empathetic, leveraging on people's stories or people's pain to make it very flashy. You are going around to empower girls, and so you go around doing all these trainings, and it's tagged as like you are empowering people. But in actual sense, are you really empowering people?
Yeah.
And so I sort of feel like I'm just stepping on what Nabil said in terms of people don't get the processes right, and so they just jump into wanting to get the title and then do it. Another thing I would say for young people, like it is very necessary in terms of the skills, and we already spoke about in all these experiences, volunteering, working at other organizations, it sort of gave insights.
Volunteering and actually meaning volunteering.
Yeah.
Not volunteering and after a month you don't get any money and you feel like, oh, okay, I've been here for some time and I'm not seeing anything. But when we started, we actually understood volunteering.
Right. Yeah.
And it was, and like you even be excited to be called a volunteer with another organization.
That's also because you genuinely knew that you had some empathy in your heart and you genuinely wanted to make an impact. You genuinely wanted to make that change, you know. Unlike these days, what we see, people just want the show of it and then wants the pictures of it, you know. They genuinely do not really reflect on actually driving that impact.
Yeah.
When we started development work, like I said, at the age of 7, I think I built on that empathy. And then I built on what kind of difference that I really wanted to make. Because I remember calling my parents out. I remember calling my dad and my mom out on things that they were not doing as parents. And I remember challenging my parents, like, this is what I think that you should, this is how I want to be groomed as your child, you know. And these days, we don't get it. But that's also because of the influences of technology, right? And then when you look back to the influences of technology, yes, it will enhance our work. But yes, again, it's going to be a lot of challenge.
Right.
I ask someone to do work for me, and then you go on ChatGPT and generate something for me. I will look at it, and I can know that this is ChatGPT.
There are some people that I know, that you know the way they speak, you
And
know,
the way
when
they
it's
write. You need to think. These are-
you actually know that it's ChatGPT that they are on.
So these
and all
are tools
that.
that are supposed to help the work that you do or enable the work that you do. But you also need to think. You also need, and when you think, your thought processes, ChatGPT will only give you a generalization of everything that is happening within the media, right? But however, when you think and you genuinely care about a problem, and then you have like a synopsis of how you want to solve the problem, and then you put it in ChatGPT, it actually generates something close and maybe polish it in a way for you. But that's the challenge young people are going to face right now. I'm a millennial. The Gen Zs are always looking at it from that angle of, you know, like we have ChatGPT, we have all these AI tools, we have all these other things that are like flashy and all that. But in genuine, like, do they reflect? Do they really understand that they need to build themselves? When we take out ChatGPT and then when we take up all these other tools that help enable the work, what becomes of you? That's where the skills come. So
what becomes of you when ChatGPT, Meta AI, and all those platforms are not there? And I think that for us as young people, one of the things that in as much as we are developing ourselves, we should also develop ourselves with critical thinking. Because if you can't think critically, it will be very, very difficult for you. It's been a great and an amazing conversation. Let's take a breather. When we are back, we delve into more.
Welcome to Maga's Royal Hotel, where royalty stays. Right here in Tamale, where the sun blazes rays. In Convict Palmo, we shine so bright with comfort and class, both day and night. From the rich green lands where farmers grow to the friendly faces that always glow. We bring you warmth, we bring you style. Maga's Royal Hotel makes it all worthwhile. Come feel the thrill, make a royal splash. Our swimming pool is cool and flash, fresh and wide. It's yours to enjoy with families, friends, or just you. And when it's time to move and flex that muscle, our state-of-the-art gym is ready for you. Run, lift, stretch, and feel alive to stay strong, stay sharp, and always thrive. With the state-of-the-art rooms and a spa so serene and conference halls that are crisp and clean, we serve the North with pride so true. Maga's Royal Hotel is made for you. Maga's Royal Hotel is more than a name. It is comfort, strength, and royalty. Call us now on 0502 055555 or 055 4668 786. Maga's Royal Hotel. Dive in, work out, rest like a royal.
Welcome back from the break. It's still the Reflection Show with me, Martha Spice. We're looking at the importance of self-development or youth development or how to develop yourself and all that. Yeah. It's been a great conversation with Samiha and Nabil. I like your name, Prince Nabil Mahama. Right. Now in Ghana, if you have Mahama attached to your name, it looks like we're a big man. So maybe after this episode, I go,
and manifested.
So let me start with Samiha on this. Yeah. How did you really, you said you began at, you identify, at what point did you really realize that this is really what I want to do?
I think at what point in my career did I realize that this is what I want to do? In the beginning, when I joined UNFPA, I think that was when I realized that this is really what I wanted to do. So my going into the UN started as a consultant on one of the projects that they were working on. That's how I got into the UN. And after the project, it was supposed to be for a year, but it was just during COVID. So just around COVID was wrapping up. And then they called for the youth fellowship program. When I got into the youth fellowship program, it sort of unleashed truly where my career was going to. Yeah. So, and prior to that, I'd worked with UNHCR, which was also a UN agency. For me, I'd always wanted to be in the UN. So it's like, okay, I don't mind which agency. When you say the UN, people think like it's just like one body. So the UN has, in Ghana, UN has 26 agencies, different agencies. But I know that a lot of people, when you talk about the UN, they think about UNICEF because UNICEF is very visible. Yeah. So UNDP. I think, or UNDP. Yeah. When I joined as a fellow, the fellowship program was a year-long program. And it sort of, that was when I actually felt like this is really what I want to do. And it was also easy, you know, in the beginning I mentioned about career, academics, like things that you do that sort of align, and it will take time for you to envision it, but in the long run, it sort of connects. Doing development management, it's within the development space. Then going to do my master's in social policy. And that was when I felt like I wanted to move from advocacy to pushing for policy, to pushing for the real work. And then in policy reviews, sometimes in the advocacy rooms, you would sit down, you want to do A, B, and C, but how do you, that influence policies? Yeah. And then I began understanding things better. I think around the period I was doing my master's, it also made me understood better. But the fellowship program provided a platform that sort of unleashed my true potential in terms of where do I want to see myself. So from moving from just the program to moving from building my career clearly in terms of where I want, what I want to do and where I want to see myself. So I think that was the period that I crafted that niche on. Yes, if it is within the development space, there are different areas. Are you doing programs? Are you doing M&E? Are you doing finance, like development financing? So then you begin to identify that niche. And for me, it's always been about gender. And gender as in just not feminism or gender as in not female, but gender as in both genders. And that's also personally from like my experience, my upbringing, and again, problem solving, just looking at it from the lens of the impact. Like there's a problem. I want to change the problem, right? And also from the personal experience, at things that has happened to me just because I'm a female or just because I'm a young girl, I'm a young Muslim girl. Like, and these are all like layers that play part into crafting that niche. And so when I thought about becoming like a gender advocate or a gender person, it was because personal experience and experiences. So like all these experiences shaped how I saw things and how I wanted to contribute. And then it became clearer when I finished my master's degree in becoming like a policy analyst. Okay. But then specifically on gender. So that sort of shaped how I saw myself. And so if there are opportunities to apply for roles in different organizations, I would go for organizations that are feminine-led or women-led, or I'll go for organizations that are women-led organizations. So that's how come I ended up at USAC, as executive director.
Okay. Nabil, how did you get to the point, or what made you know this is what you really want to do, despite a lot of things that he has done? Can I say it? Anyways.
Okay, so I mean, for me, my journey has been very interesting. I've been through different industries, different levels of pain, and different experiences. Met people from different angles, and then it's all contributed to where I am today. And so when I read the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, I think I have to start giving credit to Robert Kiyosaki, right? So when I read the book, there was the mind shift. And then I wanted to go into business. At the time, I didn't know what entrepreneurship was. I just knew I wanted to start something. So over the years, I was also very interested in music. I used to do music at a very young age. I was exposed very early. I used to live next door to Big Adams at the time, and Big Malik and all of these musicians back then. So they sort of influenced my upbringing when it comes to the choice of music and everything. So at a point, I wanted to do music myself. So I started doing music. I started rapping. Even in high school, I used to do music. But then at a point, I started a recording studio. And so the recording studio was where I realized that I could cash out from this music thing. So why be the musician?
Where is James? It went off. No, it went off. No, we need to be sure, because if it went off, and so we need to know at what point. So were these two recording? No, relax. We need to be sure, because if he comes, if he comes back and it's not well done, we would have to restart. I didn't want him to talk up to a point that we have to restart all over. I'm just asking. So it's yes, that's what I will continue. Because if we talk, we've done that before. We've spoken, then it comes and we have to now go back and start again.
I think he's trying to explain that because I was on, he's using this camera for me.
Yes.
So he's just working on this.
But he made me feel like I shouldn't have asked. So I want him to know that I'm just asking so that we all know he's sure and I'm also sure. So is it back now? Let him come and check. Call him to come. Okay.
So should we?
Because I asked a question. So if I asked a question, it should have been mine. After her, I was talking before you started. So the time after he finished and I was talking, was it on at that point or not?
It was on. I turned it to him, he was talking
before.
I'm not sure it started. He was only
Okay.
that when it's your turn to talk.
Okay. That's fine. We are just getting clarity to be sure that everything was okay. So he will just start from the point that he ended. Okay.
So I'll continue.
No, you will just continue.
Right? Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. So when I started doing music, at a point I started a recording studio, and so I had a lot of musicians coming to record music, and that was when I started getting some small coins from the music industry. So at that moment, I realized that why don't I do this as a business rather than just being the guy rapping myself? And by the way, the first show, my first performance.
Oh, you can give us some freestyle later. Your first show performance.
I was paid 50 CDs, and at the time it was a lot of money. I was excited about.
That was like when?
Oh, this somewhere maybe 2013.
2013, yeah, 50 CDs was quite.
So 50 CDs was good money for me. Yes, and yeah, so I was excited about it. To wrap up the whole music journey, there was a particular musician who came from Togo. He had recorded a few songs in my studio, and then I ended up doing a song with him. We went to Accra to shoot the video. At that time, I'd wanted to leave music. I'd wanted to do other things because I was somehow cashing out from other things. Example was that I was doing digital marketing at the time because of my tech background. So most of the musicians used to come to me to brand them, open Facebook pages for them, get them their music on, music platforms. At the time, we're using Reverb Nation before Spotify and all these music platforms became popular. So I was doing all those things, getting people on digital, music stores, helping them get social media visibility and all of that. So it started a different phase for me. So I started a digital marketing agency called Perfect Run. And so I was doing more tech then. People then started coming, can you develop a website? Can you design a logo? Can you do this? So it's a whole industry on its own. So I started leaving music and going there. Now, when we went to Accra to shoot the music video, I was with the musician and some other guys. We went to a particular restaurant to eat. I love their food. I love the environment and everything. I told myself I need to start a restaurant. So when I got back to Stamali, I started a restaurant called the Chicken Hub.
Yeah.
And Chicken Hub was one of the restaurants, one of the businesses that taught me a lot of lessons because I was the guy doing the cooking myself. I got my own recipe after trying 22 times.
Ooh.
Yes. So, and the first trial was terrible. The first 3, 4, 5 were very terrible. I served people raw chicken and all of that. Yes. Yeah. But it was an interesting journey because I learned, human relations there. I learned management skills. I learned people skills. I learned communication. I learned how to get people to return to your business. So I started learning a lot of these skills. I even learned some level of accounting, even though I studied accounting in,
The accounting in school is always different from the accounting,
exactly. So, I had
field.
real life practice on accounting. So I started learning a lot of things. And that business taught me the most when it comes to entrepreneurship because it's the business I failed multiple times in. I started, I failed within the first 8 months, the business shut down. I started again after a few months, it shut down. I started again, it shut down. And I remember there was a lady who placed an order for food one time and we said, oh, sorry, we are currently not working. And I was the one who answered the call. The lady insulted me and told me to take courses on entrepreneurship because when she's in her menses, she wants to eat our food. And unfortunately, she was in her menses and our food was unavailable.
So before your food, what was she eating?
Yeah, exactly
that
the point. So that's just one of those things where people try to get to you. Sometimes customers can go the extra mile, to irritate you, even though it was from a good place. But at the end of the day, it also taught me patience, that in business, you need to be patient to deal with people from different angles. So transitioning from there, eventually it closed after multiple failure. So I decided to just focus on the Perfect Run where we're doing our tech stuff. And it was through Perfect Run, I ended up doing the project for MTN, which led to iValley. Yes. And so it's been a very interesting journey doing so many other things. Yes. I've started and failed in other businesses I can mention because some of them were just registration documents. They failed as ideas. Yeah, but a lot of failures. And I think the best learning process is failure.
The best learning process is failure. And I think that most times we, do not appreciate the times as we failed.
Right.
We feel that, oh, this didn't go well, so I'm a loser and all that. And one thing that I think I have tried that failed was a laundry and cleaning business.
Wow, I didn't know that.
Yes, I tried that. I'm thinking of doing it again, but I don't have the time. This time I'm even much busier. And, from the beginning, I could do these few things myself. I got other people and all that. But the thing is that I wasn't really getting people to stand in when I'm not there because I wasn't passionate about it. That's one thing I realized about business. If you're not passionate about it,
exactly,
it's difficult for it to stand.
Right.
Yeah. So in as much as I was passionate about, other things, but I think that I was only doing it just because, okay, let me just try something that can also bring income.
Right. Yeah. And that's to that point in terms of like crafting that niche for yourself. You need to be very passionate about what you do.
Yeah.
I think for me, I'm very known for what I do.
Advocacy, yes.
Like even beyond advocacy. And that's why I said to even pushing for policies. It's beyond that, right? It's also because you are not talking from a place of just seeing, but you're talking from a place of experience. You're talking from a place of even personalized like experiences.
Yeah.
Right.
And so the change that for me I want to see for young women from the north is because one, I'm a northern myself. It's because two, I have lived these experiences.
Yeah.
I have lived the injustice. I have lived the social norms that sort of put me in a box that have broken away. I have lived those experiences, and that is why for me, like truly, truly, it is not just about the show of it, but it's about the impact that I want to see and the change that I want to see
Yeah.
as a northern girl.
So once you are not really, really passionate about it, and you don't have, let me say, all the money to get the best hands, even when you have the best hands, you need to have a bit of time. So let's say if I had all the money to get the best laundry equipment, probably I'd have gotten
If you are not
somebody.
passionate about it, it will
Yes.
still run down.
Yes.
Yes.
Unless maybe the person I'm also employing has some certain level of passion,
Yeah.
a loyalty towards that business. So understand what you are passionate about. Understand your skill. Understand what you are good at doing with your hands or with your mind or with your brain or how you want to say it. And I believe that at that time it's going to help you to really identify your niche. So after identifying your niche, what did you do to, should I say, stabilize it, or to? I think you've been doing like iValley and those things, for a while now. I think it's the longest kind of thing you ventured in.
Right.
What were some of the things to really get it stabilized?
Okay, so the number one thing is working with the right team. And you might not get the right team at the beginning. Sometimes people will come and leave, people will come and leave. Out of 10 people, maybe 2 will be the right people for the job. And so when the other 8 leaves, the 2 that are there. So number one for me was ensuring that I had the right team, even right from the beginning. Number 2 is partnerships. Because I also learned that some of the reasons why my previous businesses failed was that I was doing everything on my own. And so it was more about me being a hustler than actually being an entrepreneur. Because entrepreneurship is beyond ownership. Entrepreneurship is beyond just cashing out. I realized I needed the right partners to be able to make this work. If I'm not here today, can another person step in? What expertise do I need but I don't have that this other person can complement, skills? So it was about working with the right people, having the right partners, and also doing something we are all passionate about as partners. Because if you also pick the wrong partners who are not passionate about what you want to do, it might not work. So regardless of you being the idea generator, if you have the right partners, the right team, and the right systems and structures, it plays a key role. If you have the right team without the right systems and structures, it still won't work.
Yeah.
And again, you need to do a lot of collaborations and working together with people. So back then, I was focused on me. It was all about me. But then the moment I realized it was about us, then we started winning. And so you need to also shift from being a businessman where you say, I did this, I did that, to saying we did this as an entrepreneur, where it's about the team. And, I think that's the key to our success so far, the right team. and the
Okay,
right partner.
Samiha.
All right, so I think I agree with Nabdol with all the things that he has mentioned, the partnership, the writing and all that. But the last point I would mention is continuous learning. It's very important. You learn, you unlearn, you relearn. They are very key in terms of where we are going, in terms of your niche that you create for yourself. So with all the niche, even in my career, as even where I've reached, there are so many unlearnings that I'm doing. There are also so many relearnings that I'm doing. And yeah, like you just have to continue learning. And when you learn, you put it into practice. And that comes with the mind shift. Because the perspective that I hold with all my experiences, sometimes there are things that we are doing or there are projects that you are working on and you have to unlearn certain things. Even in terms of leading, there are the sort of leadership skills that I've built coming back to Tamale, leading WISAC. There are things that I have to unlearn and there are things that I'm relearning. So continuous learning in every single thing that you do. Yes, you can craft the niche. There's never a stage where you get here and you say, I have reached there, this is where I've arrived, right? We are all still achieving to go higher and higher. And so continuous learning is very key in every single thing that we are doing as we move forward. Yeah.
Continuous learning. And where we've gotten to now, we see a lot of other people wanting to get there. A lot of people want to start what we are doing. But maybe I have gotten there and I know that it's not easy. I had a young lady come to me and I think they wanted me to manage her. I think she was going for like a beauty pageant and what. And then she wanted, according to her, she wants to probably win and start her own foundation. And I told her that if you want to start a foundation, that is okay. But I'm not sure going for, if are two girls actually. And of course, these are things you have to vote. And they felt like I could help them use my networks to get the money and all. And I told them, no, my networks do not really do that. Even with me, I'm still struggling to get the funding and all that. Do we necessarily have to have every single person? I'm talking about from the perspective of partnerships. Some people cannot necessarily be good, let me say, leaders, like in a broader picture, but they can probably lead a section. But I see that everybody wants to start something on their own. And sometimes when you try to encourage them, because sometimes you see some of these girls who wants to start something and quote and unquote, sometimes they're even struggling to even get money to pay their school fees.
Yeah.
And you just tell them that relax, there's time for everything. We give yourself a year or two. Not that their ideas are not valid, but because the timing is not really right. What can we really tell anybody out there who wants to start what we are doing, who is on the journey of self-discovery, development, empowerment, and what, they should relax and do better? In general, we just have a few minutes. So let me come.
Yeah, in general, I would speak from my perspective for young people who wants to go into development space. And for over 15 years of experience in development space, I would say that you need to build yourself first. You need to volunteer with organizations, understand structures, learn from the organizations before you can actually say that you're starting your own thing. All these little experiences counts because it sort of give you better perspective, even in solving the problem or even in designing an organization, like how you run it and everything. Because you just get up and they say you are starting a foundation. Why are you starting a foundation? Because you start something because you want to contribute to change, or you want to contribute to impact, or you want to solve a problem. And then I'm speaking from the perspective of a development person. If you're finishing university and you are quick to say you want to start an organization, it doesn't really work that way, because then you do not really have the right experiences to start. Yes, you can start, but mind me, believe me, you will struggle. You struggle because your mind is going to be all over the place because you do not understand how these things operate. But when you work or experience or probably volunteer with other organizations, you get better perspective of how these things are. Then in the process, you're able to identify your full potential and say, okay, there are certain people that might never start organizations. It's just not for them. They might probably work for so many organizations.
Not everybody is an entrepreneur, just like we keep saying.
Everybody's not. Entrepreneurship is not for everybody, exactly. So you need to identify all that. And so I would say that it's better to start whilst gaining the experiences for yourself, build yourself. If you have to go to school, go to school. If you have to do courses, do the courses.
Yeah.
And then it would, in the processes, it would unleash the potential that you probably have.
Okay. Nabil.
Yeah, so I would pick it from another angle. I would stand on mentorship. And mentorship comes in different forms. It could still work, you being a volunteer, or you working for an organization or a company where you can learn directly from the people higher than you in the same industry. Or even if you started already, you can get somebody in that same industry who is already ahead of you and doing so well for themselves, and then you can learn from them. They would not only give you access to their network, but they'll also, take you through the right systems and structures. They will take you through the coaching and give you what you need to know in order not to make certain mistakes and errors that they made before.
Okay.
Yes. So my take is mentorship.
All right. Thank you so much. It's been an amazing conversation here on the Reflection Show, getting to understand everything youth empowerment, youth development. I am Martha Inspires, and like I said earlier, when we're recording from Maga's Royal Hotel right here in Tamale, get to see their contact details on your screen. Thank you for watching. Have a good night. Hello and welcome to Thoughts from Martha Inspires. Today we want to have a conversation on what I have captioned, beware of negative third voices. Many times we hear people say things about other people to us. this my friend, has done this, your friend have done this. Some of you have very loyal and honest friends, but most times, because of what people have said about them, have said against them, they come to you and they pollute the good friendship that you have. I'm not saying sometimes friends cannot betray you, but you have good friends, you have good family members, you have an issue with somebody, and because you haven't sat down to have clarity or communicate, somebody just comes to you and say bad things about your friend, and all you do is to believe. But you have forgotten that that friend was there for you when you were sick, when you needed money to pay for your school fees or something. That friend was there for you. Beware of negative third voices in whatever relationship that you are in, friendship, your family, your sisters, your brothers. I want to urge you, before you take any hard decision or anything, be careful, pray, and don't destroy relationships. Thank you for watching this episode on Thoughts from Martha Inspires. See you next time.